Seuss Altorf of Florida State. On the back straightaway, Morley of UF with a 2-meter lead over Altorf. You want to keep an eye on Seuss Altorf to see if she has any breaking speed coming into the final 60 meters. Beth Ann Morley of Florida, Seuss Altorf of Florida State. And Beth Ann Morley looks like she's going to take heat number 1, followed by Seuss Altorf of Florida State. 2:41.20 for Beth Ann Morley. Altorf at 2:42.38. And Beth Ann Morley of the University of Florida setting a new facility record. Congratulations to Beth Ann Morley of Florida, 2:41.20, a new facility record. Coming up will be heat number 2. Here are your athletes that are competing. Karen Dobiash of UCF, Gianna Del Pizzo of UCF, Astrid Bonge of FAU, Victoria Valdez of USF, Raquel Edwards of UCF, Penelope Sosa of UCF, Macy Mills of SOFL, Kayla Gropp of FAU, Catalina Edwards of USF, Reese Knowlton of Troy, Sonia Friend Uhl of UNA2, and Michelle Roll of GPTC. This is heat number 2. And this is heat number 2 of the women's 1,000. In this heat, you want to keep an eye on Karen Dobiash of UCF. She's a sophomore coming in with a personal best of 2:56.90. And her teammate Gianna Del Pizzo of UCF, a freshman, coming in at 2:58.15. Leader right now, Reese Knowlton of Troy. On the back straightaway, Knowlton of Troy. Heat number 2 in the women's 1,000-meter run. Del Pizzo of UCF and Edwards of UCF in the top 5. Reese Knowlton of Troy holding on to the lead, and now moving into the lead from FAU. Looks like Astrid Bonge. And now on the outside, Victoria Valdez of South Florida. Valdez of South Florida, Bonge of Florida Atlantic, Knowlton of Troy, Del Pizzo of UCF, Edwards of UCF. heading into the bell lap. Victoria Valdez. And now on the back straightaway. And that's Penelope Sosa of UCF. The final 5 meters, she will take heat number 2. Her time 2:59.49. Valdez of South Florida at 3:01.25. Knowlton of Troy at 3:01.62. Del Piso at 3:01.63. In the men's pole vault competition, Nicholas DeSanto clearing 4 meters 25 on his first attempt. That equates to 13 feet 11 1/4 inches. Heat number 3 on the track in the women's 1,000 meters. In this particular heat, we have several athletes from Southeastern University in heat number 3. DeVerna of Southeastern, Rome of Southeastern, McBride of Southeastern, Price of Southeastern, McKinney of Southeastern, Colbank of Southeastern, Graham of Southeastern, Miller of Rive, McGee of Southeastern, St. Louis of USF, and Dwyer of USF. In heat number 3, Jaden DeVerna of Southeastern, just a freshman coming in with the fastest time at 3:10 in this heat. And right now she is your leader. Her teammate now on the outside going into the back straightaway. The top 9 runners, all from Southeastern. Jaden DeVerna, Natalie Rom. On the back straightaway, your leaders in heat number 3. And this is the bell lap. Jaden DeVerna, a freshman from Southeastern with a 10-meter lead over her teammate, Natalie Rom. running 1 and 2 respectively. In third position right now is Amari Graham. In fourth position is Jade McBride. .60 meters remaining in heat number 3. Jaden DeVerna of Southeastern, a freshman, coming out to the final 10 meters. And DeVerna of Southeastern will take heat number 3. Coming up next on the track will be the men's 1,000 meters. The 2025 Jimmy Carnes Track and Field Invitational time now is 10:18. At 10:25 this morning, the men's 1,000 meter run will get underway. We'll introduce heat number 1 in a few moments. The women's high jump competition, Rinsky Drenton of North Florida clearing 1 meter 55 on her first attempt. Thomas of Georgia Southern also clearing 1 meter 55 on her first attempt. Bellot of Jacksonville at 1:55. Kessler of FIU also clearing 1 meter 55, and Roberts clearing 1 meter 55 in the women's high jump. Jimmy Carnes Track and Field time now 10:21. Need to have all women milers report to the clerk at this time. All women milers. All heats, please check in with the clerk of the course at this time. All women milers. In the men's pole vault competition, Nicholas DeSanto competing unattached, clearing 4 meters 25. Jonathan Grant of Southeastern also clearing 4 meters 25. We have several athletes that are still in the competition in the men's pole vault. And the men's weight throw, Austin Kleiman of Florida State, your leader at 17 meters 71. We're in round number 3. Cooper Crowell of Florida State at 17 meters 12. Currently in second. The Knowles now riding first and second in the men's weight throw, with Kleiman at 17.71, Crowell at 17.12. Time now is 10:22. Now on the track, the first of 3 heats of the men's 1,000 meters. Let's introduce the athletes competing in heat number 1. Gavin Nelson of Florida, Ladarius Tellis of North Florida, Ian McNally of Florida, Jonathan Pitchford of Florida, Roger Reyes of St. Thomas, Jonas Kodorenka of Troy, Daniel Welling of Florida Southern, Dominic Longobardi of Florida Tech, Anthony Ferry of Bruton Parker. In this particular heat, you want to keep an eye on the following athletes. Gavin Nelson of Florida has a personal best at 2:23.59. He also has 148.78 speed in the 800. Ladarius Tellis of North Florida has a personal best of 224.03. Also has 150 speed in the 800 meters. Evan Fleming of Florida has a personal best of 224.17. McNally has a personal best of 225 flat. And Pittsburgh of Florida has a mark of 227.26. Also has 150 speed in the 800 meters. This is going to be fast, ladies and gentlemen. 5 laps around the track. The men's 1,000 meters first heat. Coaches, athletes, and fans, just as a reminder that we are going to stick with the time schedule. There is no rolling schedule today. We are going to continue to stick with the time schedule. Thank you. This is heat number 1 of 3 with Nelson, Tellis, McNally, Pittsburgh, Reyes, Kotorinka, Welling, Longobardi, and Ferry. The athletes will stay in their alleys and they'll break at the beginning of the home straightaway. You'll want to keep an eye on Gavin Nelson of Florida. He's got 148 speed in the 800 meters. And we have 2 Gators now in the lead. Nelson currently in second. And on the back straightaway, the Gators are now pulling away from the chase field. And now on the turn with a 10-meter lead over the rest of the field is Gavin Nelson of Florida. And they're coming through the bell lap. Again, Gavin Nelson has 148 800 meter speed, and he's showing it right now in the back straightaway. Nelson with about 100 meters remaining. Nelson now on the turn, opening up the lead. And he will take heat number 1. A great battle now for second. Looks like Jonathan Pittsburgh of Florida will take the silver in heat number 1. Nelson's time 2:24.09. Pittsburgh at 2:27.94. Tellis at 2:28.45. Reyes at 2:28.95. The NCAA record set by Brandon Kidder of Penn State back in 2016. His time 2:18.26. Coming up will be heat number 2. Here are the athletes that are competing. Jones of Warner, Evans of Southeastern. Milholland of Bruton Parker, Lewis of Southeastern, Shields of Southeastern, Smith of Bruton Parker, Diesba of Southeastern, Wilson of Weber, Moody of Southeastern, and Galley of Bruton Parker. Heat number 2. Heat number 2 of the men's 1,000 meters with Jones, Evans, Milholland, Lewis, Shields, Smith, Ledesma, Wilson, Moody, and Galley. Anton Jones of Warner, a sophomore, going into the back straightaway, your leader. And on the turn, it looks like we're going to have an interesting finish. Jones of Warner. Evans of Southeastern. 1 lap to go. Shields of Southeastern now in third, followed by Lewis of Southeastern. And coming into the final 40 meters, from Southeastern, the Fire of Southeastern. And Evans time 2:39.87. Jones at 2:42.26. Shields at 2:44.47. Coaches, athletes, and fans, for the latest results, go to live.halfmiletiming.com. Once again, live.halfmiletiming.com. Moving on to heat number 3. Let's introduce the athletes. Ankaya of Southeastern, Caldor competing unattached, Zernicke of Florida Tech, Green of Bruton Parker, Johnson of Warner, Petit Frere of St. Thomas, Jimenez of St. Thomas, Gibson of Bruton Parker, Krishiv of Warner, Thomas of Southeastern, and Leon of Bruton Parker. Heat number 3 about to get underway. The men's pole vault competition, Matthias Bassani competing unattached, clearing 4 meters 40. That's 14 feet 5 and a quarter inches. Heat number 3, Ankaya, Caldor, Zernicke, Green, Johnson, Petit Frere, Jimenez, Gibson, Krishiv, Thomas, and Leon. Once again, the athletes will stay in their alleys and break at the beginning of the home straightaway. Mario Thomas of Southeastern, your leader going into the back straightaway. Now in the league, Jonathan Petit Frere of St. Thomas. And now we have 2 athletes going into the turn from St. Thomas. And now we're approaching the bell lap. And that's Jimenez of St. Thomas on the back straightaway. And Jimenez now trying to open up the lead over his teammate with 60 meters remaining in heat number 3. James Jimenez taking heat number 3 from St. Thomas. Jimenez's time 2:32.83. Petit Frere at 2:37.35. And that's Emilio Ancaya at 2:49.26. Mario Thomas at 2:53.27. The next running event will be at 10:50 this morning. It will be the women's 1 mile. In the women's high jump competition, Amara Thomas of Georgia Southern has cleared 1.60 m. That's 5 feet 3 inches. And Luca Kesali also clearing 1.60 m. Both clearing on their first attempt. And the women's high jump competition, Nicole Shepard of North Florida, clearing 1.60 m on her first attempt. The 3 athletes, Casaleyi of FIU, Thomas of Georgia Southern, Shepard of North Florida, all clearing 1.60 m on their first attempt. Gabrielle Flores of FIU also clearing 1.60 m on her second attempt. 4 athletes have cleared 1.60 m in the women's high jump. Going for his final attempt in the men's weight throw, Austin Kleinman of Florida State, your leader at 17.73 m. In the men's pole vault competition, the bar now moving up to 4.55 m. And flight number 2. In the men's hammer competition, Austin Kleinman on his third attempt. 17.73, your leader. Jason Nwosu of South Florida currently in second at 17.43 m. And third, Jordan Reish of Bethune-Cookman at 17.19 m. And fourth, Cooper Crowell of Florida State at 17:12. In the men's weight throw competition, we're now in round number 5. And your leader still from Florida State, Austin Kleinman at 17 meters 73. Time now is 10:47. Up next on the track will be the first of 5 heats of the women's 1 mile. Let's introduce heat number 1. From Florida State, Bika Schipperin. From Florida State, Brooke Mullins. From Florida State, Elizabeth Barlow. From Florida, Caroline Wells. Competing unattached, Gabrielle Schmidt. From Florida, Reagan Gilmore. From Florida State, Lily Gwynn. From Florida State, Emily Brown. And from the University of North Florida, Smilla Colby. In this heat, you want to keep an eye on Bika Schipperin of Florida State. She was the 2025 Clemson Invitational champion. Has a personal best of 4:25.84 in the 1500. Brooke Mullins of Florida State has a personal best of 4:38.50, and she was second at the 2025 Clemson Invitational in the mile. Has a 4:23.20 personal best in the 1500. Elizabeth Barlow of Florida State has a personal best of 4:42. She was All-South region in cross country where she placed 17th overall in the 6K. Caroline Wells of Florida has a personal best of 4:42.40. Was a member of the Gators cross country team that placed 12th overall at the NCAA cross country championships in Madison, Wisconsin. Gabrielle Schmidt, competing unattached, a member of the Gator cross country team that finished 12th at the NCAA cross country championships. The women's 1 mile run, heat number 1, about to begin. This will be 8 laps around with Schipperin, Mullins, Barlow, Wells, Schmidt, Gilmore, Gwynn, Brown, and Colby. And this is heat number 1 of 5, the women's 1 mile run. You want to keep an eye on the Noles and the Gators, arch rivals, of course, in every sport. Both schools well represented in this event. Heat number 1, the girls 1 mile run, 8 laps around. Keep an eye on Bika Schipperin and Brooke Mullins of Florida State, Caroline Wells of Florida. Wells now currently in 4th. Schipperin of Florida State, your leader. FSU now running 1 and 2 on the back straightaway. And now moving into 3rd position, Caroline Wells of Florida. And Bika Schipperin of Florida State, followed by her teammate Elizabeth Barlow, running 1 and 2 respectively. Heading into the back straightaway, Schipperin now with the 5-meter lead. Bika Schipperin now extending her lead, going into the home straightaway. Schipperin, Barlow. And Bika Schipperin now on the back straightaway with a 20-meter lead over the chase field. Schipperin, the 2025 Clemson Invitational champion, has a personal best of 4:25.84 in the 1,500 meters. And right now she is showing the class of the field. Now with a 30-meter lead. Here comes Caroline Wells on the outside of Florida. Now moving on the inside, Caroline Wells now in second. Schifrin now going into the turn. Wells in second. Barlow in third. Bika Schifrin, followed by Caroline Wells. The NCAA leader, Kimberly May of Providence at 4:28.33. She ran at the UMass Amherst Flagship Invitational. Kimberly May, your NCAA leader at 4:28.33. You want to keep an eye on the clock for Bika Schifrin, having an outstanding race this morning in the women's 1 mile. Caroline Wells in second. Moving into third is Spila Colby of UNF. Bika Schifrin now heading into the home straightaway. In second position is Brooke Mullins of Florida State. This is the bell lap. Bika Schifrin of Florida State, followed by her teammate, Brooke Mullins. Smilla Colby of North Florida. And with 60 meters remaining in heat number 1 in the women's 1 mile, Bika Schifrin of Florida State. Smilla Colby of North Florida. Bika's time 4:34.16. That's a new facility record. Colby of North Florida at 4:37.34 and Mullins at 4:39.43. Congratulations to Bika Schifrin, setting a new facility record here in Gainesville at 4:34.16. Colby dipping under the facility record at 4:37.34 and Mullins at 4:39.43. Moving on to heat number 2, let's introduce the athletes. Wyant of Florida, Keel of Florida, Menke of Florida State, Newald of Florida State, Badrado of Jacksonville, Williams of North Florida, Stevens of USF, Mahan of Florida State, Clements of UCF, Tachek of Georgia Southern, Pizzulo of competing unattached, Edwards of USF, and Emma Jane O'Gorman of UNF. This is heat number 2. Again, the NCAA leader, Kimberly May of Providence, a powerhouse in distance at 4:28.33. She is the NCAA leader. First call, men's and women's long jump. First call, men's and women's long jump. Heat number 2 of the women's 1 mile. Wyant, Keel, Menke, Newald, Badrado, Williams, Stevens, Mahan, Clements, Tachek, Pizzulo, Edwards, and O'Gorman. Olivia Newald of Florida State, your leader. And we have a peloton of runners going into the back straightaway. Newald from Florida State. The women's high jump competition, the bar now at 1.65 meters. 2 athletes from Florida State now leading in the heat number 2, the women's 1 mile run. Olivia Newald of Florida State and Lauren Mahan of Florida State now running 1 and 2. Coming on the outside is Ava Wyant of Florida. Ava Wyant of Florida has good closing speed. We'll keep an eye on her. Currently she is in 3rd. Newald of Florida State, Mahan of Florida State running 1 and 2. Ava Wyant of Florida on the outside, currently in 3rd. In 4th position, Delaney Stevens of South Florida. Also in the hunt is Lindsay Keel of Florida. Olivia Newald of Florida State now. Here comes Ava Wyant. Ava Wyant now moving into 2nd. She's a freshman out of the Masters Academy in Oviedo. Wyant in 3rd, now making a move on the outside. Olivia Newald now trying to hold off the 2 Gators on the outside. Lindsay Keel, Ava Wyant running 2nd and 3rd. Olivia Newald now in the lead. In 4th position is Ella Menke of Florida State. Olivia Newald, bell lap to go. And now moving in to 2nd, Stephanie Pizzulo. And on the outside, it looks like Ava Wyant of Florida. Wyant and Newald. Newald of Florida State, Wyant of Florida. And that looks like Ava Wyant coming into the final 10 meters. And Wyant will take heat number 2. Wyant's time 5:17. Menke at 5:47. Newald at 5:59. Pizzulo at 5:01.45. Great race in heat number 2. Men's shot put, 11:30 warm-ups. Your event will begin at noon this afternoon. Yep. Once again, men's shot put, warm-ups at 11:30. Your event will begin at noon. Up next will be heat number 3. Let's introduce the athletes. Boozer from UNF, Rowe from Troy, Fronrath of UF, Musante of Florida Southern, Bentayeb of UNF, Granick of USF, Morral of FSU, Moore of FSU, Reed of Florida Southern, Wheeler of Jacksonville, Feder of South Florida, Fluman of Florida Southern, and Reburn competing unattached. In the men's pole vault competition, Nicodeme Pachopian of South Florida, 4'70", that equates to 15 feet 5 inches. Cleared that on his first attempt. And this is heat number 3 in the women's 1 mile with Busser, Rowe, Fronrath, Musante, Bentayeb, Granick, Morral, Moore, Reed, Weiler, Feder, Fluman, and Reburn. Again, the athletes will break at the beginning of the home straightaway, 8 laps around. And your leader right now, Avery Fronrath of Florida, followed by Sydney Granick of USF. Avery Fronrath, a freshman for the Gators, followed by Granick, a senior representing the Bulls of South Florida. And third, Grace Reed of Florida Southern. And In third position, bib number 8, Lily Moore of Florida State, now making a move on the outside. Lily Moore, a freshman for the Noles, going into the back straightaway. Followed by Avery Fronrath of Florida. In the men's pole vault competition, Peyton Pitts competing unattached, clearing 4 meters 70. On the home straightaway, Florida State's Lily Moore and South Florida Sydney Granick heading into the back straightaway. Emma Musante of Florida Southern currently in third. One lap to go, and we have the makings of an outstanding finish between Lily Moore and Sydney Granick. Lily Moore of FSU, Granick of South Florida. And Lily Moore, a freshman for the Seminoles of Florida State, coming into the final 50 meters. Sydney Granick, a senior for the Bulls of South Florida. And it is going to be Lily Moore of Florida State. Her time 5:07.91. Granick at 5:09.21. Musante at 5:13.75. Busser at 5:13.84. Reed at 5:15.10. At 12 o'clock this afternoon, the women's weight throw, the women's long jump, and the men's long jump will begin. Once again, at 12 o'clock, the women's weight throw, the women's long jump, and the men's long jump will begin. So please make sure that you report to your respective venues. Up next will be the penultimate heat, heat number 4. Here are your athletes competing. Edge of Embry-Riddle, Mothershed of Florida Southern, Trainer of Embry-Riddle, Hinote of Troy, Holmes of Jacksonville, Huxtable of Jacksonville, Elder of Troy, Ryder of Embry-Riddle, Rank of Georgia Southern, Calvert of Troy, Friend Uhl competing unattached, Beery of Florida Southern, Pizzoli of Florida Southern, Nails, Torchio of Florida Southern. This is heat number 4. And this is heat number 4 with Edge, Mothershed, Triner, Hinault, Holmes, Huxtable, Elder, Ryder, Rank, Calvert, Friend, Uhl, Beery, Pizzoli, Nails, Torchio. In the men's pole vault competition, Sean Young of Sky Pole Vaulter Elite Athletics on the runway. Need to have all men's and women's 60-meter hurdlers to check in at this time. And Sean Young of Sky Pole Vaulter Elite Athletics clearing 4 meters 70. Leading in heat number 4, Ariana Elder of Troy. Once again, all men's and women's 60-meter hurdlers, please report to the clerk of the course at this time. Leading now in heat number 4 in the women's mile, McKenna Calvert of Troy, followed by Mothershed of Florida Southern. This will be the second call for the men's long jump. Second call, men's long jump. And on the oval right now, from Troy, McKenna Calvert now extending her lead on the back straightaway. In the women's high jump, Amaya Bienaim from FIU clearing 1 meter 70. That equates to 5 feet 7 inches. One lap remaining for McKenna Calvert of Troy. Kira Mothershed of Florida Southern in second. In third, Sonia Frenuel competing unattached. And less than 100 meters to go for McKenna Calvert of Troy. And McKenna Calvert of Troy in heat number 4 at 5:12.10. Ladies and gentlemen, in the high jump competition, Amaya Biename from FIU has cleared 1.73 m. That equates to 5 feet 8 inches. Keep an eye on Amaya of FIU, clearing 1.73 m on her first attempt. Coming up will be the final heat of the women's 1 mile. Here are the athletes that are competing. Leonard of Jacksonville, Dix of Jacksonville, Blazer of Southeastern, Turley of Troy, Field of Jacksonville, Grelly of Jacksonville, Machado of Florida Southern, Cassane of Florida Southern, Schwartz of Jacksonville, Robinson of Southeastern, Ashley competing unattached, Priyati of Jacksonville, Haney of Jacksonville, and De Rosa of Jacksonville.
I've always used that one just for like a scoreboard game or something. Yeah. For ambient noise. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to update firmware software and I tried to get it more via the American version, but no luck. Yeah, it still works. Not noticeable, but I guess somebody will notice.
They just have alerts set up so they keep
Right.
digging them and then they put it on there.
Heat number 5 underway with Leonard, Dix, Blazer, Turley, Field, Grelly, Machado, Cassane, Schwartz, Robinson, Ashley, Priyati, Haney, and DeRosa. Ladies and gentlemen, in the women's high jump competition, the bar now is at 1.80 m. That's equivalent to 5 feet 10 3/4 inches. On the apron now in the women's high jump from Florida International University, Amaya Biename. The bar at 1.76 m. Leading in heat number 5 from Troy, Lucy Turley. And we have 4 athletes in the men's pole vault that have cleared 4.85 m. That's 15 feet 11 inches. Bitter of South Florida, Pachapian of South Florida, Pitts competing unattached, and Sean Young from the Sky Pole Vaulter Elite Athletics, all clearing 4.85 m. Lucy Turley, followed by Jordan Dix of Jacksonville. And third, Sarah Ashley competing unattached. This is the fifth and final heat of the women's 1 mile run. Going for her second attempt in the women's high jump, Amaya Biename of FIU. Turley of Troy. Dix of Jacksonville. On the back straightaway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the apron once again, Amaya Biename of FIU, third attempt at 1.76 meters. Let's show Amaya some love. She's on the apron right now in the women's high jump competition. Third attempt at 1.76 meters. Congratulations to Amaya Biename from Florida International University, your high jump champion at the 2025 Jimmy Carnes Invitational. And Lucy Turley of Troy at 5:28.06. Leonard of Jacksonville at 5:29.77. Up next on the track will be the men's 1 mile. Coming up next will be heat number 1 of 6, the men's 1 mile run. Let's introduce the athletes. Aiden O'Gorman of North Florida, Aiden Arnold of North Florida, Robert Pedroza of North Florida, Ethan Geiger of Florida, Jonathan Leone of Florida, Elias Al-Katabi of North Florida, Ryan Deweyhatch of North Florida, Alex Pena of Florida, Anthony Matthew of Florida Southern, Graham Myers of Florida, Gavin O'Brien of North Florida, Onyx Ortiz of North Florida. You'll want to keep an eye on the following athletes in this heat. O'Gorman of North Florida has a personal best of 4:02.46, has a personal best of 13:44.77 in the 5K. The 2023 NCAA qualifier in the 10,000 meters, and the 2024 East Coast Relays champion in the 5K. That's Aiden O'Gorman. Aiden Arnold of UNF has a personal best of